Hello, this is Kyle Byron, the Toronto Nutritionist. This is my 5th video on metabolism. Today's video is about when the client is making positive changes to their fitness and nutrition, but nothing is changing with their body composition. And we see this sometimes. So 3 pieces of advice for today. Number 1, do not assess your own body composition. You can't do your own tape measurements, you can't do your own calipers. Yes, you can go and get like different scans like a bod pod scan. You can do that yourself, but it's not really doing it yourself. Something else you can do at home is body composition photos. That's actually a decent way to measure your body composition. Just make sure you do the front, the side, and the back. And if you do that every few weeks, you can detect differences. And obviously you want to not have a lot of clothes on for that. Okay, the second situation where a client is making changes but nothing is happening to their body composition is when they're making the wrong kinds of changes. So if you look at back in the 1980s, so people were doing a lot of cardio and low-fat diets, and that doesn't really work. Instead of cardio, you want to be lifting more weights. Instead of a low-fat diet, well, there's lots of other techniques, which I'll talk about in a second. The third thing that can happen when you're trying to make changes to your fitness and nutrition, but not getting results, is that you just haven't crossed into the fat loss zone yet. Okay? So what can happen is, let's say instead of exercising intensely once a week, you're doing it 2 times a week. Okay, good job. And instead of eating carbs at every single meal, you're eating more vegetables. Good job. Okay, really good changes. Okay, so maybe these changes are exemplified here by this green line here, making that change there. Good job. Okay, but your metabolism isn't really affected by that change yet, or your metabolism will actually change to adapt to what you've done. So now what do? Well, you make more changes. And this is where it's really important to have an expert like myself guiding you to make the right kinds of changes. Because you've already made an emotional investment, and you don't want it to get too hard. You want to be working smart, okay? And then you cross down here into the fat loss zone where you're working out the right kind of way with the right kind of intensity and your nutrition is correct. So here's some free advice for you, some habits that are really good. So eating protein with each feeding, including your snacks, being mindful with your appetite awareness, making sure that you're actually hungry if you're eating, getting a good sleep, and drinking water between meals. So these things seem like common sense, but in today's world, they're not that easy. So to sum things up for today, don't assess your own nutrition and your own body composition, because you might be doing it right and not notice it, or you're just doing it wrong, which leads me to point number 2. Make the right kinds of changes. And point number 3, you have to keep at it until you actually change your metabolism enough to get into the fat loss zone. All right, thanks for watching.